Recently, I went to the cinema to watch Formula 1, the movie. The visuals, absolutely insane. The sound totally blew me away. But unfortunately, it was so crowded in that cinema, so I had to choose a very front seat.
And you can imagine the neck's about to snap from looking at the whole time. Just like this. On the top of that, you can literally see the pixels on the screen. It's a bit like you put your face up against your monitor and suddenly realizing, oh wow, it's just a blotch of little squares. So here's a big question. It's the exact same screen, so why does it look so blurry from the front row? Well, that comes down to a super important concept in VR. We call it PPD. PPD, pixels per degree.
More pixels, nice and sharp. Fewer pixels, boom, a giant mosaic. Let's back to cinema example.
Front row, a screen looks massive, the pixels get stretched out. Low PPD makes everything looks blocky. Back row, PPD gets higher. You don't notice the pixels anymore, but because the resolution itself is limited, you still lose detail. The sweet spot, right in the middle to back area, well, you get the perfect balance of sharpness and immersion.
And that, my friend, is what people call the golden seat at the cinema.
In VR headset, there are three main factors that affect PPD. The first, resolution. The higher the resolution, the sharper the image. With everything else being equal, a 4K screen will have twice the PPD of a 2K screen. Second, field of view. The larger the FOV, the more immersive the experience. But the pixels get stretched out, which lower the clarity. Third, viewing distance. The closer you are, the more immersive it feels, but the more pixelated it becomes. The further you sit, the clearer it gets, but it loses some of that immersion. This is also why a lot of FPS players pull their screens really close, to maximize immersion while sacrificing some sharpness.
Additionally, there are other factors at play, like the optical design of the lenses, rendering resolution of the screen, and even individual differences in people's vision.
VR headset constantly balance these factors to get you have the best experience as possible. What PPD is actually comfortable? 20 PPD? Okay, it's playable, but the details are pretty poor. 30 to 40 PPD, the sweet spot, clear, detailed, and easy on your eyes. 50 plus PPD, near the human eye's limit, with almost no pixelation at all. The human eye's limit is roughly around 60 PPD. If we take a step back and look at the history of VR headset, we can easily see the trend. In the early day, VR headset had a PPD of around 10 to 50. The experience was like pixelated movie. It was like watching the world through a mesh screen.
Then came some standalone VR headset, and they pushed PPD up to 20 to 25, kind of like 720 gaming console era. It was playable, but the text and details were still blurry.
Fast forward to the Apple Vision Pro, which brought the central era up to 40 plus PPD, and finally reaching 1080 or even 2K display levels. It was the first time people started thinking, okay, this is actually a VR device that could be used for work. And now, the latest Pimax Crystal Super pushed PPD all the way to 57. This number is now incredibly close to the human eye's 60 PPD limit. In the other word, inside this headset, you will rarely see I can see the pixels. Instead, you will be able to do tasks that requires ultra-high precision,
like looking at the distant scenery in a game, or reviewing Excel chats in VR, or even doing professional training that requires fine details. It's like VR has evolved from standard definition to HD and then to 4K. And Pimax 57 PPD basically takes VR into the retinal display era.
So next time you are at the cinema with your friend or family, you will know that the golden seat actually exists. And in the VR world, with each new device pushing PPD further, we are getting closer and closer to a truly immersive experience. Someday, when we put on our headset, we might never talk about pixelation again. We'll just get lost in the virtual world. That is all for this video. If you like it, don't forget to like, comment, and share to your friend. See you next time.